Hey guys, Marsingin here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so today, when this video goes up, I am recording it a little bit early, so the banner's not actually out yet. But by the time this video goes up, the new Carnival LR will have released on JP, which is the new Super Saiyan Goku. Which is actually, of course, Goku, Gohan, Vegeta, Trunks, and Piccolo from the Hachiyak special, the plan to eradicate the Saiyans. We were joking about this on Twitter. I do think it's funny that this special obviously originally comes from a really old game and was then remastered for Raging Blast 2. And then, of course, Team 4-Star, for their Dragon Ball Z Abridged parody, made the entire special all about Christmas, and it's called The Plan to Eradicate Christmas. So the fact that this unit is now coming out as the Christmas LR in Dokkan, I think is pretty funny. But yeah, we're going to talk about them very briefly, because I've already done a video breaking down their details, showing their animations. Make sure you check that out if you haven't seen it. But I've done a few episodes of this series. I've been kind of lacking with doing it for every single new release, but I think something interesting like a Carnival LR, especially because of the release schedule at the moment, it's worth taking a look at this once again, and that is obviously to talk about when this unit is going to come out on Global. So I do think this unit is pretty good. Just like the other Carnival LRs, I think actually Metal Cooler I think is the only exemption, which the leader skill to me, you know, Battle of Wits is an alright category. You can obviously build a very decent 200% Battle of Wits team, but this unit is going to see most of their use on other teams, in my opinion. And that's the main reason why I like the fact that the unit is just Super Saiyan Goku. Yes, it is the same name technically as the Tech Carnival Goku. So 2 out of the 3 Carnival LRs, which is a new thing that they've introduced, 2 out of the 3 of them are Super Saiyan Gokus, which I think is kind of funny. A lot of people are seeing this as a negative to the unit, which I don't really understand. Obviously, they are in direct competition with the Tech Carnival Goku, but you would just run them on opposite rotations, and by virtue of this being a Super Saiyan Goku and not Goku, Gohan, Vegeta, Trunks, and Piccolo, it means they actually do have good links and good teams, right? Pure Saiyan, Goku Family, Super Saiyan, Kamehameha, Bond of Friendship, Accelerated Battle, Bond of Parent and Child obviously is a big one. So this unit is able to be on good teams with good categories. I think he has the exact same link set as Carnival Goku, the Tech one. So one of his strengths, of course, is the fact that he has such a good link set as well as everything else. So I think this unit is very, very good. You could run them as a floating third slot support unit, although ideally you obviously want to get 10 hits on them so they can get their Scouter effect. So I think they are strong enough with the damage reduction and the fact that they build up with attacks received that in most events you can probably get away with putting them in slot 1 or 2 in the early phases to make sure that they actually do take some hits. Obviously it's largely going to depend on RNG, because you sometimes can get attack placements on a turn where all of the attacks are in slot 2, or even in slot 3 there could be like 4 or 5 attacks. So this is one of those units that you have to play it by ear. This is kind of like a side note, but nothing screams skill issue to me more than when I see people complaining about units that, like this guy, fair enough if in your mind you are convinced that the only way you would use him is as a floating third slot support unit. But if on his first turn there's like 6 attacks in slot 2, it is an actual skill issue if you don't just put him in slot 2. Because he's going to get that extra defense, he's going to tank those hits, and he's going to be at 6 out of 10 for his passive. If you act like units have to be in a certain slot when they actually don't, like, you just have a fundamental misunderstanding of the game. Like, it's different when it comes to, like, you know, LR, Vegeta, and Trunks. After 5 turns have passed, you kind of have to put them in slot 1, unless you can get away with they're either not taking any attacks, or it's a tech enemy, or whatever, so their guard and that extra attack and defense isn't important. But this unit is not stapled to any particular slot. You can run them as a slot 1 unit, even in the hardest content, once they're fully built up. They're obviously going to have, what, 225% defense, plus the 50% from the support, and 30% damage reduction. So you know, whilst they're not the best slot 1 unit in the game, when they're fully built up, they will be good in slot 1, right? So this unit can be used basically anywhere. I think they are a very good unit. I think the animations look cool. The active skill's awesome. So this is a unit that I will be excited to summon for when they come out on Global. So getting down to the nitty gritty of when is that going to be. So this is the timeline for JP for the end of last year. And we can see here quite clearly on the 16th of December. So this is what, 1 day difference. This is the release of last year's Christmas Divine Carnival LR for JP, which of course was before Carnival LRs was a thing, but the banner was still called the Divine Dragon Carnival. It was double rates, it was blue coins instead of the new teal coins, which obviously the new LR banner is going to be. And this is when we saw the release of Future Gohan and Trunks. So essentially this is the time slot for this unit for this year, give or take a day, but this is the Divine Carnival release. Now, if we scroll back a little bit, we can see the actual previous Dokkan Fest started at the end of November. So we had the Heroes Celebration, we had some cross all the Easy A's and stuff, and then boom, the end of November is literally like the last day, right? We got the release of the Tech Androids, and that's when we then moved into December and got the release of the Divine Dragon Carnival as basically part 2. Now, if we go over to the global schedule and take a look at the beginning of the year. So this is Super Vegeta at the beginning of January 2022. If we follow the same release order, this time slot should be Kid Goku, because obviously we still don't have him. But we know last year the order was mixed around a little bit, so this could even potentially be Tech Bardock. Obviously we don't really know at this point, good old global foresight not really being a thing anymore. So this time slot is either going to be Kid Goku or Bardock. And then as we scroll down, we get to the end of January. Oh, it was actually the beginning of February. Okay. So we get to the end of January, beginning of February, literally on the 1st of February is when the Tech Androids released. And so in this celebration, Future Gohan and Trunks remained the Part 2 LR for that celebration. So that would indicate, as long as we follow the same sort of pattern, that this is going to come in the middle of February on Global, and that's when we will see the release of the LR, like the new Carnival LR STR Goku. Now, the thing that's going to be interesting is whether it's going to stay tied to this celebration, because I should have brought up the current JP one. So, in fact, let me do that now. Let me open up a new tab here. And then we'll put this at the end. So where we are right now, December 2022, we obviously had the release of... Okay, it's a little bit earlier, so it was at the end of November. The end of November, we had Heroes, and then we had the release of Dokkan Fest Yamcha. So going back to the very beginning, this is similar to last year, where November was when they released the Androids, then they released the Future Gohan and Trunks. But this year, we got Yamcha as the end of November Dokkan Fest. And now we've moved into December and gotten the Carnival LR Super Saiyan Goku. So this is interesting for Global for a couple of reasons. Because last year, they moved the order of some of the Dokkan Fests around. So that the Tech Androids actually came out... Was it earlier or later? I think we were expecting AGL Trunks first, if I remember rightly. And so they kept these two together, because they do obviously have a direct correlation, right? The androids from the Future Saga and then Future Gohan and Trunks. It makes perfect sense to keep these two together as part of the same celebration. Whereas when we get to Global, as I already said, January is going to be a bit up in the air, because last year, you know, we got Vegeta. This could be Kid Goku or it could be Bardock. Neither of them had a Part 2 LR. So if we look back again on January, this is where they put in Janemba. So what I'm expecting to see is that this will be Kid Goku or Bardock. Doesn't really matter which. Both of them I think are good and worth summoning for, but we'll talk about that closer to the time. And then this time slot here is where they're going to fit in LR Golden Frieza, because he's in basically the same sort of limbo now that Janemba was. So he's going to fit in here. And then we're going to move into February. But who is this Dokkan Fest going to be? Like, I don't necessarily think this is going to be Yamcha, and they'll keep Yamcha and the Carnival LR tied together, because they have no relevance, right? Like, Yamcha has nothing to do with Plan to Eradicate the Saiyans. Now, what would be cool is, obviously, they keep the LR in this time spot, and then put Bardock or Kid Goku, whichever one doesn't release in January, because then at least you can tie some kind of link, right, between plan to eradicate the Saiyans and that LR is releasing as part 2 of a celebration where they're dropping a new Dokkan Fest exclusive Saiyan. So that is how I imagine this is going to go. This beginning of February time slot is going to be either Bardock or Kid Goku, whichever one didn't come out in January, and then the LR is going to remain in this time slot. Now, the only thing I think that could be different about that prediction is they could just keep this as being the release of Yamcha, which is obviously going to push back either Kid Goku or Bardock, whichever one doesn't come out in January, which, you know, for some people, that's either going to be good or bad, depending on which ones of those units you want to summon for. I personally, as a content creator, obviously I'm going to summon for everyone, but I don't really care about Yamcha, so for me, it would be kind of cool if they kept this as Yamcha, because then if January, whether it's Kid Goku or Bardock, I'm going to summon for them and potentially dupes. And then February is just Yamcha, which gives most people a chance to skip or save. Or me, only to just go for one copy and then stop. And then the following month we'll get the release of, again, either Bardock or Kid Goku, whichever one did not come out in January. So, regardless of this time slot here, whether this is Kid Goku, Bardock or Yamcha, I would think, with the way the schedule goes, this time slot is where we should see the release of the STR Carnival Super Saiyan Goku, 15th of February. Obviously, it's not necessarily going to be the 15th, but around that time. Like, if I bring up my calendar here, usually units come out for me on like a Monday or Tuesday morning, so I could imagine this being the 13th or the 14th, but it should be midway through February is when these guys will release. So let me know what you guys think down below. Do you agree with this prediction based on the timeline? Obviously, it could change quite a lot. Are you excited to summon for the Carnival LR when they come to Global, or are you waiting to see more? Obviously, by the time this video goes up, the private server showcases are already out, but the JP players, I imagine, will have done their summons. Someone will have posted the 55% showcase already, so you guys will have a better idea of whether the units are valuable enough to summon for. So let me know all your thoughts down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.